Story number 1. The Haunted Christmas Tree. This first story comes from a viewer, Rachel, who had a Christmas experience she will never forget. Rachel was super excited to decorate her first Christmas tree in her new apartment. She bought the perfect tree, carefully hung the ornaments and placed the angel on top. Everything seemed perfect, until Christmas Eve. That night, Rachel started hearing strange sounds coming from the tree. Soft whispers, like voices in the wind. At first, she thought it was just the wind outside, but the sounds didn't stop. They got louder. As Rachel walked over to the tree to check it out, she felt something brush against her face. When she looked around, there was nothing there. The ornaments on the tree started swinging back and forth as if being touched by invisible hands. Terrified, Rachel decided to leave the room for a few minutes. When she came back, the tree lights were all turned off, even though she hadn't touched them. But the creepiest part? The angel at the top of the tree had moved, slightly turned, facing the living room, as if watching her. That night, Rachel barely slept, and she swore she could feel eyes on her all night. The next day, she moved out of that apartment, but the memory of that haunted Christmas tree still haunts her to this day. Story number 2. The Christmas Eve Visitor. This next story is from a guy named Tom, who had always loved Christmas. But one year, his love for the holiday would turn into pure terror. Tom had recently moved into an old house in a quiet neighborhood, and it was his first Christmas there. On Christmas Eve, he finished decorating and went to bed early, looking forward to waking up to presents the next morning. But in the middle of the night, he was woken by a loud noise, like someone was stomping around downstairs. Tom, thinking it was a burglar, grabbed a bat and cautiously went downstairs. What he saw froze him in place. In front of the fireplace was a man in a tattered red suit, not quite a Santa, but close enough. His face was pale, his eyes dark and hollow. The man didn't say a word. He just stood there, staring at Tom. The only thing he did was slowly raise his finger to his lips, as if to say, "Shh." Then he turned and disappeared into the shadows. Tom didn't stay in that house for much longer. He moved out a week later, too scared to spend another Christmas there. And to this day, he has no idea who or what that man was. Story number 3. The Christmas Grinch. And this last story comes from a woman named Sarah, who had an unusual encounter with something sinister. It was Christmas Eve, and Sarah and her family were hosting a Christmas dinner at their house. Everything was going well until her little brother, Timmy, came running into the room, his face pale and filled with fear. Timmy told them that he had seen something moving outside the window. He said it looked like a tall, dark figure with glowing eyes. Sarah and her parents thought it was just his imagination, maybe too much sugar from the Christmas treats, but they decided to check it out anyway. When they opened the door, they saw something that made their blood run cold. Standing in their yard was a creature, tall, hunched over, with a twisted face, wearing what looked like an old tattered Santa suit. It wasn't a person, it was something much worse. And when it saw them, it grinned. The smile was huge, almost inhuman. Sarah's dad quickly shut the door, and they called the police. When the police arrived, the creature was gone, but they found strange, deep footprints in the snow, leading off into the woods. No one knows what it was, but Sarah and her family still can't forget the night they were visited by the Christmas Grinch. Closing. Well, there you have it, guys. 3 creepy, real-life Christmas stories that will definitely make you think twice about celebrating the holidays in peace. If you enjoyed these stories, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And if you have your own scary Christmas story, drop it in the comments below. I might share it in a future video. Stay safe this Christmas, and remember, not all holiday visitors are there to spread cheer. See you in the next one.